All right, we should be good to go. Welcome back, everyone, to yet another Moonshire Monday. Gonna be talking about physics today. Gonna be doing some more pixel art. I'm very, very excited to get started with all that. Over this past week, I posted my new devlog video, and we got a lot of folks watching that. Thank you so much for the support. I really appreciate that. And I see some folks in chat already. I'm gonna give it just a minute to get all ready to go. But I'm going to be showing off more of the jumping stuff today, same stuff from the devlog that I posted. That video is getting a lot of attention. I'm very happy about that. And I appreciate all the support, all the kind words. So we're going to be talking about that. I'm going to be finishing up some of the pixel art that we started last week, because we started... Honestly, the past few streams we've been doing pixel art, and it's been a lot of fun. Last week we started working on this palm tree. Oh yeah, it was the Sideshow Bob is what we ended on, but we have this palm tree. So we'll probably come back to this sometime in the stream too. But seeing the folks in stream already, we got Baron and Wolf, Wiseham, Mr. Banana, Dark Ninja, Pekka Cat. Let's see, Dark Ninja. There were some people in here pretty early. I appreciate all the support. And Penguin, thank you for being here. Weltrill, I will be... going through and answering really any questions people have about the Z-axis stuff, because I got a lot of comments and I responded to a bunch of them, but anything else I can talk about, I'd be happy to go through. And I'll probably just be jumping back and forth between this and the pixel art stuff, because one thing I think I noticed is the pixel art is really easy for me to focus on. Is that mouse placeholder? No. So actually, the placeholder there's a few things. One, you'll notice that there's two mice. There's two mouse like on top of each other. It's very weird. I don't see that on my screen, but on OBS it's displaying two of them. I can fix that if I change that. Now it's back to one, and that's better. But it is weird that when you capture cursor through OBS, it captures it twice. It's very strange. The double mouse back again. Yeah, I was able to turn it off. Did you or will you add any Easter eggs into the game? I haven't added really anything big yet, but I definitely will. The thing is, the Easter egg has to be placed in like a very particular way, and I would have to wait until, you know, the game's farther along. Ed Piglin, LoveCanvas. Yes, I did take a look at this time. So I haven't implemented it. I haven't started it yet, but I read up on how like this works. And it sounds like it's using WebGL for all the rendering processes, and since it's doing it that way rather than the traditional OpenGL way, it's able to like refresh and stuff. But this is kind of the reason I haven't tried it yet is I'm a little skeptical, especially like it's brand new. It just came out, and it's simple. Yeah, it seems like it could work really nicely. I do suspect, like, there was one thing in here where it said limitations. Some shaders may behave differently due to WebGL. I highly suspect this will happen, but at the same time, I think this is something that I would want to address anyway, because I think mobile platforms use a different rendering process as well. So I think there's going to have to be some, like, case-by-case rendering logic. Do I need a server for a multiplayer game? That's a good question. Multiplayer games are a big step, and I actually haven't done any sort of online multiplayer game yet. That's a really complex step. But the way that works, sorry, let me know if the music is ever too loud or too quiet. It was loud on my end. You would need a server if you want multiple players to. I'm trying to explain this right. It's kind of loud. Okay, I turned it down a little bit. I think my game is not going to need a server for multiplayer. My t-shirt's beautiful. Thank you. I got it as a Christmas present. But the I'm planning to do what's called peer-to-peer multiplayer, and this is all going to be experimental for me. I'm gonna see how that process goes and see if I actually do need a server. But there's a few ways that you could connect your games together. And I'm gonna do like I'm gonna open up MS Paint, and I'm gonna draw something as like a visual aid. So give me 1 second while I set that up, and we're gonna talk about game servers, or at least my understanding of them, Because in full disclosure, I've never made a game, like an online multiplayer game that uses a server or anything like that. But I do have a lot of experience in web development. I worked at Microsoft as a cloud developer, so I have a lot of experience with online technology. It's just applying them to games is totally new for me. But what I think that I'm going to be doing for Moonshire is that I'm going to have peer-to-peer multiplayer. And what that means is that you have player 1 over here, and then you have player 2 over here, and then it literally does just make a direct connection. Okay, so this is called peer to peer. I really should get out my if I'm gonna be drawing like this, I should get out my drawing tablet. Drawing with a mouse is kind of hard. Beautiful art, thank you. It's not quite as good as my pixel art. I can do a better job with pixel art, but I think that this is gonna get the job done. Yeah, if I ever do something like this, I think if I had my tablet, it'd be a lot easier. But so a big problem with peer-to-peer though is that there is security risks to doing peer-to-peer. Because if you connect a computer to another computer and one of them is like a hacker or a malicious actor, it could potentially cause issues. To make this peer-to-peer connection, both IP addresses, the IP addresses need to be connected. So it's really easy to make this connection. If player 1 gives his IP address to player 2, then they'll be able to form the connection. But you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. It's a server, kind of. It is that in this case, one person acts as the host and the other person acts as the, whatever you call it, the client. So one person is hosting a server and the other person is connecting to that server, but it's a direct peer-to-peer connection. And that's how that would function. But like I was saying, if you give your IP to someone, that is dangerous and risky, and also it's annoying. You don't want to. You shouldn't ever do that. So a lot of platforms, including Steam is no different. They have something to help with that specific issue, because giving away your IP address is no good. You don't want to do that. And what they have is something called what could I draw for this? I'll just make it a diamond. Man, it is hard to draw with a mouse. Like I can draw pixel art really nicely with a mouse, but drawing like freeform art is not easy. You have a relay. Man, this is not looking good. But then both players connect to the relay, and now this. And the IP gets sent to the relay. But the relay obfuscates everything. So now the players aren't connecting directly to each other. There's a relay server. So this is a server. The relay is some sort of like hosted thing that both players are connecting to. But it kind of like, it still forms the connection. It just kind of like acts as an intermediary so they can form the direct connection. This still qualifies as peer-to-peer, but it's more safe. So this is what my game is going to be set up. And actually, I already have this functional in the game right now where I wonder if I still can show this Steam, because I made this steam.lua file, and we have all these different states. Steam.friend is fully connected with the game. Yeah, this is the different states that I have available. Is like showing your Steam friends list, sending an invite, and then connecting with it. It says bringing them to the game, connected to the game. So there's all these different processes that go into making this work. And the reason I'm doing it this way is the relay. Where was that? This relay server in the middle. Steam provides that for free. So that's a benefit of Steam. A bonus is that Steam offers relay servers as like a service as part of their platform for free. As far as I know, it's free, and I've been using it. So I have this set up where 2 Steam clients can use the Steam relay server to connect to 2 game sessions together. Now the question, but really this relay system is kind of a simplification because it's still forming a direct connection through the relay, but the relay kind of like obfuscates all the sensitive information. And that is a bit different from a full-on server. So if we have a server, this is my server. And we're going to call this server. I'm going to try my best to write better. Server. And then now I'm going to make my players just like big circles, big dots. This is one player, this is another player, this is another player, this is another player. Whoops. And this is another one. You could still do this relay system with multiple players, but it still results in one of them acting as the host. Oh, come on. Host. This is hard to write. Host. So the player themselves, their computer is the host. Down here, the server is the host. So when you play like World of Warcraft, or you connect to an online game or League of Legends or something like that, no individual player is... You never seen anyone do that? Oh, this is a common thing, peer-to-peer networking, is that the relay itself isn't a server. When I make a connection between 2 Steam clients, in this way that I'm describing here, there's no server that's running any sort of logic, any game code. One of them is acting as the host, and the other one is connecting to that host session. Meanwhile, down here, you can have an actual server where the server acts as the host. And when you do this, it's the same sort of idea, but now since the host is all just on one hosted platform, one online server, the architecture is a lot more simple, but it's a lot more expensive because when you have a server as the host, now you need to have some distributed system or some kind of computer that's actively running, and that costs money. Whereas when you use a peer-to-peer network service, a player is hosting. Like, we're using this player's computer as the home base, the host for the networking session. There's less cost involved with that. It's being offset on the user. Whereas down here, like an MMO, it wouldn't make sense for World of Warcraft to have a peer-to-peer network for that, because there's one world. Everyone is working off of that one world. Meanwhile here, it is also one world, but it's such a small scale. It's between only one, or it could even be 4 people connecting to this one host. It doesn't involve having a hosted server when you can just have one of them act as the host. And this is all kind of theoretical for me. This is I know how to implement this, and I got the connections made, but I'm still in the process of getting this working end to end. I think it's only on Steam. I think that the concept of a relay is available on lots of platforms, but Steam offers this relay service like built in to the service. I think that for next stream, I'm going to bust out my drawing tablet, because like this art is very silly, but the text, that's the part that it looks so bad. Like I can barely read that. It looks very, very bad. And if I had the pen, that would be a lot easier to work with. Thank you for answering. Sure. Will your game be on the Love to Do front page like the other ones? I don't know. I mean, if they're interested, then sure. It's readable. It's fine. It is readable. But I think that it would be better if it looked nicer. It is so funny. Like, I compare this artwork with my mouse, and it just looks so bad. But when I work on pixel art, it's so comfortable. I feel like I have no trouble working on pixel art with a mouse. Oh yeah, here's our scary one. We're gonna ignore that. I want to move on to working on this palm tree again, because I was having fun working on these sprites on stream. It's been nice. How the elevation works while jumping onto platforms? Sure. And thankfully for the video, I made this monitor system where you can say, we're going to monitor player Z and player elevation, and then it displays it up in the corner. I'll move the window down so you can see. And I'll make it bigger. Okay, so this was in the devlog as well, where you could just like see the value change in real time, and you can see the elevation change in real time. So the ground level is elevation 0. Higher is elevation depending on how high the ledge is, because there are ledges of many different heights. There's this level over here this is elevation 12, but I can do a spring jump up to this one, and this is elevation 28. And you can see that my Z, my vessel Z, is still 0 because I'm on the ground, but the elevation is high. Like other clothes and hoods. That would be something I could do in the future. But keep a close eye on the vessel Z. When I jump off, it's going to increase by 28 because I'm going to go down to the ground level. Yeah, you can see it went up to 42 for a second. How do you manage fake Y levels? It's very complex. It is not an easy thing to handle. Between Lua and Luau, I don't actually know. I fixed the jumpable glitch on the rocks in the telescope. I actually didn't yet. I still didn't. But you can jump on these rocks and it works, but it's still like, yeah, look at that. That's the bug I need to fix, is that when it comes to the really small or narrow colliders, it starts to become buggy. Making a game, but will the game help me in the future, or is it all just waste? It's not a waste of time. No, keep making your games. Keep making your games. It's totally fine. And also regarding the rule about saying age, I don't want people to be saying their age because it puts it is against my stream rules to say that, but I think that on YouTube it should be okay. Like Wolf, I'm curious what your opinion on that is. On Discord, we have it set as a very firm rule that you can't say your age, and that makes perfect sense to me because, like, on Discord, people, like, message each other and there's creeps. Maybe on YouTube, it should be okay because he's just providing context. Like what Pickboy said is perfectly fine in my opinion. But at the same time, you know, like, I don't want it to become a slippery slope where young people are... that you're 1203. Hopefully, you like, I don't if you're 12,000 or 1,200 years old, that'd be pretty old. Yeah, I'll think about that, but I'm just do game owners have the servers running at their own home? Probably not, because this system that I described here with a server host, this server can take the form of lots of different things, and it could be just a computer at someone's home. I just followed the rule, really, LOL. I think it's fine too, though. People can cross-check names between YouTube and Discord. So, like, exactly, that's what I mean. Is like, it's iffy. I think I want to keep the rule in place and just say, like, don't say your age. It's just not. It's not something that's needed. My advice, really, to anyone is going to be the same, regardless of what your age is. But what that person was asking is, I'm new to game development. And even if I don't publish the games, it's a waste of time. Not at all. When I was a young person too, I would make tons of games and never posted any of them. They were just for myself. And that's the whole thing, is that it's for practice. It's for gaining your skills. Imagine if you were learning an instrument. I'd rather someone say I'm still in school rather than I'm this age. Exactly. I agree with that. I like when people say like after school or school, because school is such a broad range of things. We'll keep the rule as it is. We'll keep removing posts that say a specific age, but I'll keep it on the back of my mind of maybe we can make it more lenient. Or when I was a young person, I know. I'm gonna turn 30 in a few months, so that's officially old. So I think I have the opportunity to finally say I'm an old person. Sorry, someone was asking about what does the server look like. The server can be a computer. You literally can turn like my PC, my big PC, into a server, and then people around the world can connect to that server, and this could be where the game lives. And a lot of games still do operate on something similar. For example, I sometimes play old school RuneScape, and old school RuneScape quite literally has a bunch of servers where the game worlds are just computers. So they have offices in different countries. They have they have several in the US, several in the UK, and it's just a room full of computers. And I'm pretty confident that those computers are literally earmarked like this is World 301, World 302, and they're computers that people are remotely connecting into. And it's just like it's just one computer, and that's where the world lives. And that's kind of an old school. It's a typical normal way to do it. Like it makes this very simple to understand. But it's also an old school way to do it because today we have cloud technology. So today we have cloud technology where the idea of having a physical server, the idea of having a computer in your room or in your office that people are remotely connecting into, you don't need to do that anymore. Now we have cloud technology where, like all of my websites, I have lots of websites. If you connect to any website on the planet, you are connecting to a server. So if you go to chalacade.com, so this is chalacade.com. This website is hosted on a server. It is the same type of architecture that's being described here, where the website lives on a server and all of you guys, people around the world, are connecting to it, and then you're able to see it like this. It is the same thing. But the server is not just a computer that sits in my room or in my office or somewhere. It doesn't exist as a physical machine. Instead, it exists as cloud computing, cloud hosted stuff. It is a physical machine somewhere, but think of it like this. The cloud, like what we're looking at, we're talking about cloud and there's a bunch of clouds. Say like I'm hosted on Azure and that's through Microsoft. So Microsoft has tons of data centers, tons of big offices, and picture like a giant office building filled with nothing but computers. Tons and tons of computers as far as the eye could see. And that is the cloud. My website is hosted somewhere in the cloud. It's obfuscated among this mess of thousands and thousands of computers where now you don't need a server anymore. You need just a chunk of the cloud. The cloud is so powerful and so cool. And this is the reason why that's important. The reason why having one computer as your server is because that is one single point of failure. On old school RuneScape, the worlds crash sometimes. And they crash because literally the computer that's running that world like lags or hangs or someone DDoSes it or something happens. It loses connection, it loses power in the data center. Any number of things could go wrong. But on a cloud-hosted service, since you don't have a physical computer that the world is belonging to, instead the RuneScape world is hosted throughout the cloud. It's distributed systems. It is so complex, but it's also so reliable, where there's, instead of one single point of failure, one single server, there's a million points of failure, where if one of the servers in that big office building goes down, the other ones can pick up the slack, and it scales nicely. This is the other big problem with a single server model like this. Those RuneScape worlds that I was talking about, they get full. And when they get full, that's it. And you can't easily make new worlds. That's the problem that they've been having on RuneScape, is that RuneScape has been growing in popularity, and there's a finite number of worlds. There's like 100 worlds. That means that there's 100 computers running different RuneScape worlds, and if every single world gets full, that's it. Like you're just in an overpopulated game, and you can't really do anything about that. The only way to make new worlds is if you literally go buy new computers, install them in the physical location. So if you want a Brazil server, you have to go to Brazil. If you want a US server, you can have a West Coast server, you can have an East Coast server, you can have one in the European Union. There's all kinds of different places, but you actually have to put the machine there. You have to do it because it's your server. Compare that to cloud. Now, if RuneScape was hosted on cloud, they would have all these worlds, and the moment that all of them get full, pop open a brand new one, a new instance, because the cloud is this big distributed system of millions of computers just waiting to serve, waiting to host. And that's the beauty of it, is you can scale up and down as needed. Also, it's expensive to host servers, by the way. The reason why I was saying that this setup here with the peer-to-peer hosting is kind of desirable is because it's cheaper. You don't have to pay for any hosting. Having a relay server is a lot cheaper than having a full-on hosted server for a game. And like I was saying, Steam hosts this relay server for free. So the cost effectiveness is very good for peer-to-peer. But even server hosting, like when you use a cloud system, I was talking about those RuneScape worlds where as soon as they get full, you can pop open a new one. But on the flip side, if the game is experiencing a lull, Or if like everyone is on vacation, I don't know. If the game's experiencing a lull, they can decrease the number of worlds very easily. Now they don't have to host all these empty worlds costing them money, because it costs money to run a server. You can just scale it back. You scale it up and you scale it back as needed. That is the beauty of cloud. You don't have to pay unless you want to make your own servers. Exactly. Another problem about servers is hackers or exploiters modifying their data, like walk speed. However, I guess you can add sanity checks or just anti-cheat. I don't know how to handle that. When it comes to server hosting, like, and even this is that that's why handing over your IP to people is really dangerous, because you never know what they're doing on their end. And same with this, you never know what one of these people are doing. You could have a malicious actor like try to sneak in and do some little funny business and like try to screw things up, but I don't really know what precautions you can take in place. The thing is, another benefit with cloud is like Microsoft invests quite literally billions of dollars into their server architecture, into Azure as a service, where they take security so seriously that they have dedicated teams to it. I'm saying that the problem is not something that I think that I'll have to worry about. I think it's more of a thing that the hosting company themselves have to worry about. Like Microsoft has a very extreme vested interest to make sure that these servers cannot easily be hacked. Because if someone can come in and hack this server, their service is going to look like crap. People are going to go use AWS or Google Cloud or whatever if Azure servers can easily be hacked. And so they put an immense amount of effort to make sure that can't happen. And like as an individual, all you can really do is trust in that system. I don't really know what else you can do. The Oracle stays silent. Love your game. Can't wait for the full release. I had a question, if you mind answering, of course. Sure. Do you use a tween and animation player combination on all your direction-based attacks? Let's check that out. So for the player, I'm trying to think if I use tweens in any aspect of the player, because I don't use tweens. I'm trying to think of some example. Even the balloons I don't think are tweened, because it's just using a gravity formula. What would be a good example of a tween? So a tween, for someone who doesn't know, is just changing a value from one value slowly over time to another one. So rather than going like boop, like from switching from 1 to 2, like you see how these balloons are floating up slowly and down slowly. This is kind of like what a tween would look like. It's tweening the Y value up and down. In my case, it's doing this more through like gravity physics logic than it is through a tween, though. Something like this UI. Notice how when I open the UI, it has a very small section where the grass. Thank you. The grass is tweens. And I think that the snow is tweens too. The grass is a really good example. Is you can see that the grass is flowing back and forth. Thank you, Wolf. That was a perfect example. And it would look really awkward if it was like going boop, 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 boop. Instead, it's nice and gradual. And that's what a tween is it's moving it from its destination from here to here, but it's doing that slowly, gradually over time. And as far as the player's movement and stuff, I really don't think I have any tweens. Because like I said, this like gravity stuff is just using a decaying algorithm where the vertical velocity is changing. Please don't make bats. I don't think I'm going to put regular animals in the game that you can kill. I never liked that either. Are the grass tiles themselves? No, actually. So the grass is objects. And all of these grasses get placed down like manually. I can go over here and grab... Oh, I can place down trees too. You can put like a tree. Put a... Oh, that's so weird. You can... It's like slashing with the thing. The very first prototype had bats. Yeah, it did. But when I asked Ellie to design all of her enemies, because she designed a few of the enemies, she designed the Bunyip and the Tengu, I asked her specifically, I don't really want them to be animals. I want them to clearly be monsters that are evil, because I feel bad when I kill an animal. Like, have you ever... Oh my gosh. Whenever I'm playing, like, a game and I have to kill a dog. I don't like that. That makes me sad. If you could help me in the future, because I don't really want to become a developer. Well, no. I don't think I'm going to be making anyone's games for them. If you want to make a game, you should. Do you think devlogs are important for game development? Excuse me. I think that devlogs... My short answer is gonna be no, because when you spend time working on devlogs, that is time not spent working on your game, and getting a game to the finish line is so hard that any distractions, I would say, is not a good idea. So in general, I would normally advise people not to do devlogs. However, there are some obvious benefits, right? Because I'm building the community and I am getting attention on YouTube that has some ad revenue, not very much, but it has some. There are definite benefits from doing that. It's a great way to get exposure in marketing and stuff, but there's an opportunity cost with doing that. It takes an immense amount of time to make a YouTube video, especially if you want to make a good quality one. And it takes an immense amount of time to build up the skills to get good at making a video like that. Like the video I just posted, it's so embarrassing how long it took me to make that devlog. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it up because I'm very proud of it. But the most recent devlog on my channel took over a month. It took so much time, and I kept mispredicting when it would be ready. Whoops. And sorry, I want to make sure that I'm not showing all my recommendeds. But this video is doing awesome. Come on. How many? It has 48,000 views, which is really, really good for my channel. And I'm super proud of the video. The thing is, it took so much time, and I just can't help but wonder if I spent all of that time working on the game itself instead of working on a video, and like I was the same amount of, like, I don't know. It's hard to justify, and I shouldn't say it's hard to justify. I'm so happy that I made this video, and I want to keep making more videos. But the question was, are devlogs important for game development? For my work, for my development, yes, it is. It's so baked into my pipeline that I really am happy that I do the devlogs. But I don't know if I would recommend every developer do that, because it takes so much effort. It takes so much time. You're spending time making videos rather than making games. And if you want to make videos, if you want to be a video creator, that's awesome. But it is a separate skill that you're building up. I love old Zelda games. Me too. That's a huge inspiration for all of my stuff. When will you update the Steam demo and the Steam page? Yeah, I want to do that as soon as possible too, because I have all of this new stuff in the game is ready to kind of be tested out. Especially, I want to have people test out the jumping and feel how everything feels, just to see if I'm missing something or if there's any performance issues. I do know that there are some performance issues. I can show this real quick. Where if I minimize all this stuff, oh my gosh. Why Team Cherry never gives sneak peeks. I think that my thing is that I'm gonna stop giving like deadlines. I kept saying like, oh, the video is gonna be out by Wednesday, and then it'll be Friday, and like it just kept getting pushed back because I kept running into technical issues, or I kept wanting to iron things out. I'm kind of a perfectionist, so it just took so much time. How do you play stuff inside the game? In my case, it's just a lot of really clever data management, because all the levels are organized like desert. All the levels are big JSON files where you can see, like, I put a barrel at position X, Y. Here's the ID of the item that I placed. Apex is the elevation. Apex essentially is a simplified form of elevation, where I was showing before how in the game, if I turn on the monitor for player elevation, elevation is 0 by default. And when I jump up here, it turns to 12. So, and the question is, why is it 12? And the reason it's 12 is because this ledge here is 12 pixels high, roughly. We can see this in the fields, I think. So this purple box represents the top of the ledge. I didn't show this in the devlog. I probably should have. That would have been a good detail. But this purple box barrier, like perimeter, is how it decides if you're on or off the ledge. And then the collider, this green box, it uses both of these. This green box is the actual physicality of it. Because keep in mind, look how you can walk behind the ledge here. This tree is messed up. You can jump up onto it. So it is odd that, like, look, I'm not on the collider at all. I'm just over here. It's using this pink box to help the player realize that it is on an elevated platform still. Adele, hi, welcome in. You're one of the people I watched to maybe start game dev. Awesome, that's cool to hear. Thank you. That's really nice to say. How do you draw the trees? Like base is the collider, but the above part of the trees and things are part of one sprite sheet. Yeah, so it's actually multiple files. I'll go ahead and show that real quick too. If I go over into props and plants. So this is what the tree looks like. It is different pieces. You have the trunk of the tree, and then you have the different pieces. And the reason it's split up into different pieces like this is so when it gets put into the game, you can see each piece individually is moving at an isolated rate. And that makes it look like it has ripples. It's flowing. It's not just like one big bush that's rotating like a big circle. It's rippling within itself because it's layered. Do I ever get recognized in public? No, I'm not that big yet. Maybe eventually. That'd be cool. Didn't notice that was a great detail. Thanks. Flying Fox, feel free to repeat your question if you didn't hear my response. Do I have a solid world built in this version? A solid world, if you mean solid world like level design, the answer is actually no. I've kind of been redoing a lot of the level design with this new, especially with this new context. I can jump now. The player can jump. That changes everything, where I kind of want to revisit pretty much every map to make sure that it accounts for jumping and it utilizes it in a cool way. Most people watching his content aren't from the US, so the chances are low. Yeah, I don't actually know what my metrics are. I can check that real quick, because I'm curious. I'm going to pull this up, and if it's not anything too confidential, then I'll show it. Because YouTube has a lot of really cool analytics stuff. Can I just show this? I guess I can just show this. So revenue is 260. It's kind of on the low side because I don't monetize the channel very much, and also, you know, I don't post very many videos, so it's on the low side. But I think that there's somewhere in here that it tells you audience. Let's read about my audience. You can see all the channels that watch. That's cool. Brackies? No way! Oh my god, and Juniper. I got Brackies and Juniper that are subscribed to me. That's so awesome. I can't believe Brackies is subscribed. That is so cool. Oh yeah, when your viewers are on YouTube. That's interesting. It's just around midday, 12 p.m. my time. But I guess it is when I post. I guess 12 p.m. is a really good time for. It's a good time for Europe too, because that's just like 7 hours ahead of us. We also watch not who are subscribed. Yeah, it's like something like this. I don't want it to show anybody's like personal information. Oh, this is just metrics. Okay, this is fine. I swear. Oh yeah, here, like age and gender. 91% male. That makes sense. 25 to 34. I was expecting it to be a little bit younger, but this is good. That's great. 25 to 34. That's what my age is, so that makes sense that it would be that. Oh, here we go. Top geographies. United States is 22%. Now that is a very big chunk, but when you consider how many countries are on this list, oh, this is awesome. It just shows you. And you know, I bet there's a way for me to check, like this is views. Live. Hours streamed. Oh, it doesn't actually say. Yeah, it doesn't say. It doesn't have any information on that. Not much higher than I thought. It is also higher than I thought. I knew Brazil was high because of the Lua is from Brazil, so it makes sense that some Brazilians are interested in the channel. A lot of people in Europe. We got the Canadians like Wolf, India, Philippines, France. Yeah, this is neat. I remember checking the geographies on Udemy as well. I'm gonna pull that up. It's been a while since I checked that. So for those who don't know, Udemy is a website for learning like online stuff. Wait, Lua is Brazilian? Yeah, Lua was made in Brazil. 8,000 people from the Netherlands. I'm trying to go to Udemy, but the site's not loading. I think Udemy's down. That's insane. Someone out there, can someone go to Udemy, udemy.com, and see if it's up? Because it's not loading for me. That's never happened. Udemy is a website for courses for learning like skills and stuff, and I have 2 courses there, and it has a really cool. It's down. That's so weird. That's wild. I've been using Udemy. Udemy is up for you. It must be a regional thing then. This is when I go to Udemy, it just hangs. Udemy. It just gets stuck. That is yet another reason why having hosted servers. It just took like 15 seconds here. I'll let it sit. I'll let it sit. But when you host a website on a server, then it's going to have one point of failure, like I said. I'm sorry, I'm looking at this. It says upstream connect error or disconnect/reset before headers. Reset reason connection timeout. Do you guys know how to read console messages? So if you open up developer tools, this is something that you do a lot as a web developer, is whenever you experience some kind of like web page disaster like this, you can open up the developer tools and kind of like look into it. So I'm gonna go over into, let's see, into the console. Let's see what happens when I refresh. I'm gonna get rid of all of this because that's just extra junk. So the console and the, where's the network? It should show us, it's not returning anything. It's just like straight up broken. And check the network tab. Yeah, it's not giving us anything. It's just like really bad. It's just not, it's so down. Jam and toast. I should make a toast. That would be funny. X days just toasting. That'd be pretty good. How do you recommend writing a script for a devlog? I'm trying to make one. Really the way I write my scripts is I can show my script, I think. I can't. I'm sorry. I can't because I'd have to open up OneNote. When I open up OneNote, it's too risky because I have confidential stuff in there. But try incognito. Yeah, let's try that. I was hoping that I could see the udemy.com. Wow, that worked. What? Why would that work? That's so weird. Maybe it's like auto logging me in. That would be weird. Let me try a different browser. No, different browser's not working either. Well, I mean, It doesn't look like the site is working at all. Like even in incognito, it's like not loading. Do a hard refresh. Yeah, I think that it's just down, which is fine. It's just weird. What I was gonna do is I was gonna look at the analytics there as well to see where the audience was, but it's down. It's just odd, just because I've never seen that. I use the site a lot, and so it's kind of annoying. Like I don't like there being downtime. Oh. Okay, it loaded. Okay, it's up. I think it just like legitimately wasn't working for a bit. Give me a second while I find the details on this. Students. Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. It's been so long since I used Udemy, I can't quite remember where everything's located. How do you make the flying effect when the enemies die? It's the same as the jump. It's the same as the jump, but it's just like setting a very high velocity and adjusting the height in that same way. Dude, if I can't find... Oh, I'm so annoyed. I'm sorry, I don't think that I don't know where to find it. I'll look for it sometime, but it used to be front and center on that page. I'm sorry about that. This is how many jams it got. Yeah, it says that if you get over 3 jams, I think. Have I played Ocarina of Time? Yes, I have. Watched the last video, really enjoyed it. Thank you. Keep up the good work. Appreciate that. I think that I'm going to go and work on some pixel art right now, because that sounds really nice. So I'm going to take this darker shade of green, and I'm going to apply some shading. Chat is only a chat command. Yeah, it's a custom thing that Chat offers. So I'm trying to edit these leaves. We're going to go up to layer 2. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in just... a layer of like this, and this will make a big difference because right now this whole image is very flat and it definitely needs shading. We'll make the light, it looks like the light's more coming from the upper right, so I'm gonna make that consistent. I think I do want to have another color, another shade of green. We'll do that and we'll make it like that. Oh, that looks nice. That's a good color, green. Will you do a pet system? Yeah, that's something that I do want to do, because now the game has... I'll go ahead and show this. It has all this pathfinding stuff. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to go back to mobs. Follow, player 1, slime. So, like, this alone already feels kind of like a little pet. And the way the enemy AI logic is set up now is they have their own goals, they have their own intention. That's why, like, when I go into this menu, whoops, where was that? Not this one. Get out of here. You're able to say goal. Right now I only have follow, but you can say target, latest mob, hero. So then I can spawn this guy, and he's following the slime. And like we're a step closer to multiplayer with this alone. And this is all just happening with the built-in pathfinding and stuff. Oh, I'm so proud of my little friends. Looks like a traditional JRPG. It kind of does. Reminds me of Secret of Mana. Is Chalicat in the game yet? No. I should draw Chalicat. That'd be so cute. Whoa! The slime got stomped. Oh, I was gonna say that there's a performance issue in the game. Because right now the game's running really smoothly. But if I spawn too many balloons, it doesn't even have to be very many, like this many. Oh, that is so much fun. It's not lagging that much yet. It's lagging a little bit. But I think that something's wrong with these balloons where they're requiring too much processing. It really shouldn't. Yep, it's MOONSHIRE. Yahoo! What happens if you jump onto the balloons? I think it's busted right now. Yeah, it doesn't work. Whoa! They're a little bit... These guys are a little bit wild. Whoa! Did you see that? The slime jumped onto it and went crazy. Dude, that is awesome the way it does this. That is so cool. That is awesome. Whoops. Oh. I'm sorry, I accidentally hid the wrong person. I'm sorry about that. I was trying to click show. Need to pop as many balloons. Yeah, there is actually a mini game for that. Is that still in the Steam demo? The boomerang game? Where you have a boomerang and you have to pop a bunch of balloons. And this is meant to replace that. Why not balloon string? I could do that. I think that'd be fun, is if I had some string that connected to the player, and then like it could actually rotate. Because right now all these balloons stand like upright. And it would be cool if they rotated. But yeah, I think that now that there's probably like 20 balloons on screen, and I think it's causing some performance problems. What happened to the bird platformer? I kind of just lost... It's not that I lost faith, it's that I think that the controls needed to be completely redone. So it was just too... It wasn't ready yet for me to flesh out into a full game. Why isn't the slime hurting the player? Oh, the slime doesn't hurt the player. Oh, now this blue guy is going to be stuck because he's so focused on following the slime. The slime's dead now. Yeah, one of the problems with the balloons is that in general, the hit back momentum is too high for pretty much everything. That looks okay. It's not very good, but it's okay. Now, but when I hit this balloon with an attack, like that's ridiculous. It's just not right. It's too it's too strong. They like disappear. They go so fast that they just like disappear. Whoa. Yeah, so what I need to do is set some sort of cap, set some sort of maybe like density or mass on these things, because I love how they move around in the air. They're so smooth and so lightweight. But at the same time, that means that my hits are just too strong. This is so cool, thank you. I love the balloons. It demonstrates the physics engine really nicely. I love how they bounce into each other. That is so cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Why is the sword so small? It's not that small. It's a short sword. Yo! I like balloons, me too. Balloons never touch the ground. Yeah, I made them so that they just like, they always hover, and they hover up. So like if I push them up onto a ledge like this, like that, look, they go up higher. And then when they go off the ledge, they're gonna fall down. I accidentally, whoops. It's basically reading the elevation level and going up to a Z position that matches. The balloon used sign to hover. Let's see if we can find that. Where would that be? That would be in vessel. Hover. We can probably search for sign. Sign. No, looks like it's quad. No, this is for twalk. Twalk is something different. Where would float be? Here, if I go to the balloon, if I go to prop. And let's find the balloon. There's the balloon. Balloon has hover equals true, hover height, and hover bob. So hover bob is the thing that we're looking for. Actually, I'm realizing it wouldn't be in vessel, it would be in rise. Rise is a part of vessel. So if we look for hover bob. By the way, hover bob is like the bob up and down. Not like Bob as in Robert. Hover Robert. I don't think it's using sign. It's just using regular acceleration. So it says tween-based movement, but it's actually not using tween-based movement for that hover. I think it really is using hover bob where it like it sets self at z velocity. It literally is recalculating what its z velocity should be every frame, and it uses these different factors like the damp scale, excess distance. So this is like it's just considering a whole bunch of different factors to determine how fast it needs to go up versus how fast it needs to go down, and like it doesn't follow time rotation. It just follows like a distance rotation. Where right now when I spawn this balloon, it's really close to the ground, and it actually doesn't get that close to the ground again. And same when I push it up onto a ledge, it keeps rising until it reaches its apex, and then it goes all the way back down until it reaches its lowest point, and then it goes all the way back up. So it's like, it's not following like a tween pattern, it's just changing the velocity using an acceleration pattern. I don't like Bobby Stings. I think Bob is not too bad. It would make sense using sign because just offset the balloon sprite with sign. Yes, except for the idea that it's more than offset because... How do I explain this? It's sort of like what my devlog video was talking about. I'm going to close out this because it's kind of lagging with all the balloons. Sort of like what my devlog was talking about. How it's more than just tweening the offset of the visuals. Because look at the player. The player has a collider. Everything has a collider. Even the balloons have a collider. And it's really easy just to keep the collider anchored at the ground level. It's located here. And like you were saying, we are offsetting the sprite up and down in motion using some sort of formula. It could be a tween. It could be just like an acceleration algorithm. It doesn't really matter how you do it. But it is being offset, like you were saying. The hitbox go with it. Well, that doesn't solve the problem. ATDD, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the donation. I appreciate that. What I was going to say is that it's more than just having the hitbox follow it. Because I can jump over the anvil. How can this hitbox go through this hitbox? Even so, like if you had the hitbox go up with the player, you could jump over it this way, but how do you pass through it? You need some kind of pass through. That's why this is more than just a visual sprite offset thing. It's actually considering more than just the sprite offset. It's using that offset to determine if we're actually colliding with this anvil, because like you can even jump on it too. Disable the hitbox. Yeah, that is basically what it's doing. And if I have this balloon here, I think that it's gonna... Yeah, it goes over top. That's nice. What do you recommend to learn for pixel art? Just make whatever sprites you can think of. The way I learned pixel art was I was making my own games with GameMaker, and GameMaker has like a built-in sprite editor, so I just made my own characters and my own sprites, and they were really bad because like I was young and I didn't know how to do art. But that's how you get better, is you just make a ton of sprites and make a bunch of bad sprites. They don't have to be good right away. It takes a while. The balloon physics is so satisfying. Thank you. I'm really proud of it too. The tiles look so detailed, but the anvil is not. I think that the anvil is okay. Love2D Forge extension has hot reloading too, but it restarts the game window process. I see. I think that one thing that I'm apprehensive on about the LoveCanvas is the fact that it's WebGL rather than OpenGL. If there was one that was OpenGL, I think I would prefer that, just because then I would know that this is the thing. I would be scared to test the software using a rendering engine that's not the actual rendering engine that people will be using, because I feel like that leaves a bunch of opportunity for me to miss things. But if it was using OpenGL, or, you know, depending on what processing I use in the future, that's kind of what I'm thinking about. Will I add other armor that is not recolor? I haven't fully decided that yet. I'm on the fence. One thing I'm considering doing is adding masks, because, you know, the player has like this empty, like, void face. I think it would be cool to have a mask that you can put over top of it. The pinballs of the balloon. I think right now it's a little bit too pinball-y. And I was showing before how they are way too reactive to impact. When I kick this balloon, like, that's ridiculous. What we're looking at right now, that's so obviously wrong. That's not how balloons behave. So there is still some work to be done with that. Mask with different abilities would be cool, like Zelda. That would be cool. That would be cool. One thing about my jumping momentum that I think is neat is that when I jump, I can, like, do a turnaround. You can jump and turn around, and then I keep bouncing backwards. It needs a giant pool table with balloons. I think that'd be awesome. When I was doing this, like, earlier, I said that it feels like air hockey. The way that it bounces, it feels like air hockey, because it's just so slidey. And the way it bounces, like, it's so smooth. There totally should be, like, some sort of sport game or some mini game where you have to move around a puck or something. I definitely want to have the balloon popping game again. Creating 2D hand-drawn animations for my mobile game, but when I import the character assets into Unity, the quality drops. What size should the assets be to keep them looking good? That's a good question. In my case, my art is pixel art, so everything is super low res. Like, this player is something like 12 pixels by 18 pixels. It's very, very small. And if you're hand-drawing your characters and stuff, that implies that's higher resolution than that. Like, it's actual higher res. This is obviously very ugly, but, you know, it's higher res. It's not pixel art. So when you import it and it gets rendered, here's the thing, is that right now this game window that we see on screen, it's huge. Like, this character pixel, the pixels that we see on the player or on the tree, these pixels are very big. And the screen size of my monitor, it's a 4K monitor, for example. This window is being rendered in 4K, but the assets themselves are super low res. Like, this is a 12 by 18 sprite. How is it that that 12 by 18 sprite can be blown up onto a 4K monitor without it being stretched out, without it looking gross? It still looks totally sharp. And the reason for that is the interpolation is what it's called. If I go over into load. So it goes by many names, and Unity certainly has this as well. It could be called the scaling filter, the scaling interpolation, but there are lots of different filter types. This essentially determines how will the image get blown up when it's being scaled out. When you say nearest or linear, that makes the pixels very pixely and very sharp. That's why it looks so sharp, is because I'm using the nearest interpolation. But if you were scaling up high-res graphics or photos, anything that's really detailed, you would not want to use nearest. You would want to use something different, like bilinear or something. I think bilinear is one of them. Let me actually look that up, because I can't remember what our options are. I'm going to say Love2D set default filter. I'm going to see what our options are. Filter mode. Oh, this is a nice example, actually. It's just linear, not bilinear, by the way. So you can see it makes it blurry rather than pixely. And those are just stylistic choices. In general, if an asset is high res, like a photograph, or just a texture that's really high res, or high res model, it doesn't matter. If it's something that has a lot of pixels, linear tends to look better because you don't want your pixels to be choppy and sharp. Looks like the interior of the pyramid. It kind of does. Kind of does. The blurriness kind of adds to it. It's kind of like when, yeah, like Mario 64, or I especially think of Mario RPG. Mario RPG looks like a 3D game when it's scaled up using linear, but you can change the filter in some emulators to use nearest, and it looks pixely, and it also looks good. But they both look good. They look good in different contexts. I think that linear looks better for Mario RPG because it makes it look like it's blended. It makes it look almost shiny. Whereas here, when you can see all the pixels, I like seeing all the pixels because you can see all of the like intricacies. You can see the level of detail that goes into it. But here, when it blends, it kind of feels more real, especially if you shrunk this down and it was more of at a distance. So here we have the linear and the nearest interpolation. It looks like these are the only two options that you have in Love2D. But if I change the filter to be linear rather than nearest, check out what it does to my pixel art. It makes everything blurry. It makes everything blurry. So all of those sharp pixels are now rounded. They're now blurred and blended. And I think that this aspect of it is a key component to getting your art style right. In general, if you are using high-res assets where you do want to use the linear scaling, you want your assets to be as high-res as possible, like double or triple what you actually think that you would need. Because when you shrink things down, it's going to retain its detail. Compared to when you blow things up, it won't. What happened to the sprite? I removed the scaling properly. The grass definitely looks a little cooler. It kind of does. Like, it accentuates the outline, which it didn't have an outline before. It's unusual. It makes the tree look really weird because it adds a bunch of outlines to its stuff too. But it breaks my coloration because it uses very precise pixel replacement tactics in order to get the coloration right. But since it blends everything here, it kind of ruins that. So my advice for the person who is asking, make sure that your filter is set correctly based on what you're trying to do. If it's pixel art, use nearest, and if it's not, you probably want to use linear or cubic. There's lots of different options, I think. And then on top of that, make sure that the assets are suited for that. How long are you making your game? It's been 2 years for me now, and I'm losing hope that I can finish it this year. Is it normal to be that long? I'm trying to make a 2D top-down story game. I mean, I'm with you. Like, if you look through my channel, I've been working on MOONSHIRE. Well, it's gone through a few different names even. It's been in progress for so long, like 5 years maybe. I don't really know at this point. It's just time-consuming. And a game of this complexity takes so much time to get right. And also it's a learning process, is that if you're still learning how to do all this stuff, you have to spend so much time figuring things out rather than making progress. And you would think that after all this time of me doing this, that I would be fully in the know. There's nothing else for me to learn, but I'm learning new stuff constantly. I am constantly learning new stuff. When I implemented this like elevation stuff with player Z and player elevation, this was all very new. And it was a fun experience for me to learn how this worked and how to implement this. How do I make music for my game? Please tell. You just have to try. Try downloading LMMS or a free music production software. So what I'll ask, Pickboy, what have you tried? Because there is music production software out there. There's free music production software. Just download that and make little beats. Your music is going to sound bad at first. Keep that in mind. If you were learning an instrument for the first time, if you were learning how to paint, or if you're learning how to make a game, your first attempt is going to be bad. You have to remember that. How long does a musician practice playing guitar before they sell albums? It takes a very, very long time. It takes a lot of practice. So make sure that you are spending time practicing and making things, making music, and trying out lots and lots of stuff. That's how you get good. Rewatching your old devlogs and so inspiring. Thank you. I love that. Do you like Scratch? Yeah, I didn't teach Scratch. I taught a computer science class at a high school in Washington, but it wasn't in Scratch. It was in Snap. S-N-A-P. Snap. It's very similar. It's basically the same thing. But I'm a big fan of it. I think it's great. We just watched your video on making 3D Jump, and you said at the end of the stream at this time, yeah, awesome, yeah. I do the stream every single week at the same time. I haven't missed any, which I'm happy about. Library called Lurker, if I remember correctly. It's meant for hot reloading too. Yeah, I think that I do want to experiment with that idea of hot reloading, but at the moment, I wouldn't say it's something I feel a high need for, because the game stops and starts so quickly. It kind of feels... I don't know. I don't feel like I would get too much value out of it. But there are some cases where, like, I spend time, like, setting up a level. I think it would have to reload the levels, too, if it's hot reloading. Will Moonshire be linear or non-linear? The goal is for the game to be, like, a 3 or 4 hour game of the first half being linear, the second half being open. And then after the game is completed, I kind of want it to open up to player-created content. Because the game has, like, the level editor. There's a lot of fun things you can make. I think that there's a lot of potential for the game to have. I think of, like, Halo 3's Forge mode. In Halo 3, you could just, like, go into random maps and place down boxes and place down guns and ladders and stuff. And you can make your own, like, obstacle courses or sports arenas or little mini games or speedrun courses. And it was so much fun. And that is something that could totally be done with this new engine, with this new Moonshire engine, just because you can edit levels in real time now. I don't think it's going to work here if you, like, but, like, you can... I just need to flesh this out a little bit better where it's easier to work with, but you can just draw in all these platforms however you want in real time, or semi-real time, you know. And I think it would be cool if the post-game kind of leans into this a little bit or gives you more tools to make your own stuff. And then, like, through Steam Workshop, maybe people could share their mods or share their maps and share their custom enemies or custom whatever. There's so much potential, I think, with this. How do you code a level editor in Love 2D? I mean, this was incredibly complex. I think the next video I work on is actually going to be about the level editor, so I can share some of the details on that. But the answer to it was lots and lots of highly, highly custom code. Very custom. But I'm happy with how it turned out. The level editor is looking really good. Kurt Boss, I don't know what that means. Logic blocks in level editor? There could probably be something like that. I should probably do some research how, like, Minecraft does the redstone stuff, and I bet I could do something similar. Recently, I've been playing a lot of Pocopia, which, by the way, I'll be live on Twitch tonight in 7 hours. Oh, sorry, in 8 hours at 7 p.m. Central Time. I've been streaming Pocopia every single week. I love it so much. I'm shocked at how much I like it, but that game kind of is similar, where it has, like, a physics system where the water flows and it can solidify if it hits something, or, you know, like, there's different ways that things interact with each other. I like all that stuff. About some Roblox news that from May and ahead, you'll need to have premium to publish to people who are less than 16. Interesting. I think that's probably a good idea. I mean, I don't know. I'd have to look into the details on that. But I know that Roblox and the internet in general is dealing with a very bad issue where young people are being targeted by older people, and it's messed up. It's seriously messed up that that's happening. And when I hear things like that, these rules that are targeted towards people, like, under a certain age, my knee-jerk reaction is good. But on the other hand, I understand that there can be adverse effects that come from things like this. It's kind of overbearing sometimes. Having a company being overprotective can be annoying for regular users. And times it can infringe on your ability to play the game well or in a fun way, and that's bad. But I care deeply about the safety of players, and hearing that they're taking steps to address that, I think, is good. But as long as they do it in a way that's not overstepping, I think is the big thing that I'm hearing about, is that laws coming out that overstep can be a problem. So there's just some balance to be found there. Agree with you? Yeah. If you could give one advice about working in a small team, what would it be? So I don't really work on a small team. In my case, I work pretty much solo, but I do commission. So in my case, the reason why I feel like my projects work out when I work on a team is that there's a leader. I'm in charge, or one person's in charge. There's clearly one person who is the source of truth. And the reason why I bring that up is because I think it can be challenging. Like think if you were starting like a rock band or a garage band, whatever. You have 4 people in your band, and each of you are in on it equally, right? But what happens when one person starts to slack? Or one person's not showing up to the practices, or the music that they're performing isn't very good. They're just not putting in the effort. It's more of an effort thing than anything else. And that's the scariest part about working in a team, is that you all have your own motivations. You all have your own sense of urgency for these projects. And it becomes very awkward when you're in an equal partnership, but one person isn't pulling their weight. That's when it gets really awkward. So in general, I do not recommend partnerships. I think they're risky. I think that if you are going all in with one other person, you open yourself up to some risk where what do you do when that person misbehaves or they do something wrong? Because people go off the deep end sometime, right? Like you could go into business with a family member, you've known them their whole life, but then they get involved with drugs or something, and then their brain caves in and they start acting crazy. And then now you're partners in a business, your whole livelihood relies on this business, but you're in partnership with a drug addict, and they're making decisions that aren't really them. That's the scary thing, is that's a team member, right? Yeah, is things just can go wrong. So my advice for small teams is, like in my case, I don't even have a team. It's just me, and when I need help with something, I reach out to the people that can help me. And then that way, I'm the source of truth. No one else can screw this up for me. There's no risk of someone else screwing this up for me. I mean, there still is, but there's always something that can go wrong when it comes to a partnership. And this applies to all types of businesses, not just bands, not just artists and game development, but like you hear this in real estate with people who buy houses. Like a lot of people want to own a home, but owning a home is very expensive and difficult. So what some people do is they go into a partnership with like 2 or 3 other guys or people, whatever, and then they buy a house together, and now they're co-owners in it. And then as the house gains value, now they're all gaining a little bit of that benefit. But when you are partners on something like that, it just takes one person to like disagree, someone who doesn't want to sign, someone who's going to be overspending the budget, someone who's doing something just in a slightly different way than what you would want, and that can throw a wrench in the whole gear, like in all the gears. It can really, really be rough. To fix problems, I think ChatGPT is sometimes better than Stack Overflow, also because Luau doesn't talk outside of Roblox. I see. Is Luau the Roblox implementation of that? Interesting. Yeah, Stack Overflow is not widely really used hardly as much anymore. Are in a 2-person team. He does the code, I do the art and music. We work together for business stuff. We argue, we agree, we make move on. I'm with you. That is how businesses go. And the fact that you're able to work through that is amazing. Wow, that escalated quickly. I have to say it. I brought up because the reason I said like drug addict is like that's an extreme example for sure, but it is a harsh reality of like that. It just happens. It happens sometimes, and you never know what kind of craziness people are going to get into, and you have to protect yourself. That's just the truth of it. Roblox with Luau. I'm curious actually. What are the differences between Lua and Luau? I'm not really familiar. Lua understand the type of file. It's not Lua. The way you make it understand a different file type is you import the file as a string. So Lua is able to open pretty much any file and read its contents as a string, and then you can take that string and then parse it. So like XML, you need to write a script or find a Lua library that parses XML as a string and then converts it into like table data, for example. You use a dual grid system, not just a normal grid. A dual grid system. In my case, it's like, it is a normal grid, but each layer, so like this, the ground layer that I'm on is one grid, and this layer up here is another grid. And if I went up another layer, it would be another grid. So it's like a collection of different grids, which is similar to what a 3D game would be. Is game dev scary? No. I mean, game dev is very scary if you are reliant on it for income. So my advice is, if you're reliant on game dev for income, I would say that sounds very scary, because then you need to produce art and content at a rate that pays your bills. I would be terrified. I would not like that. But game development is just as scary as like playing an instrument or doing art or painting or whatever. Main story or lore. I haven't really decided fully. There's definitely going to be lore in a story and lore and stuff, but all of that kind of has been shifting around as the direction of the game shifts. Like even with this new jump system in place, I feel like that opens up a lot of changes or a lot of differences that I want to have with the telling of the story. I said add new things to your palm trees. Yes, let's go ahead and do that. Because I kind of started to, but then I didn't. But yeah, right now I kind of just want to add the shading. Excited for the Elden Ring movie. I didn't know there was going to be an Elden Ring movie. I'll go see it for sure. If I'm being honest though, I'm really picky with movies. I'm really picky. I go see probably 5 movies a year, which, you know, that's a pretty decent amount. But some people, like some of my friends go to see like 30 movies a year, maybe more. A couple of my friends go to see every single movie that comes out, which is awesome. But I just don't think I like movies that much. I love my pixel art style. Thank you. I appreciate that. Before I overshade this, I think I'm going to do another frame. You saw 350 movies last. That is wild. That is wild. You are a movie aficionado. Yeah, I'm picky on movies. I used to go see lots of movies. I don't know why I don't anymore. I'm trying to. What else should I do with this? See, this is kind of where I struggle. Is that now I have this big flat leaf, and I need to add detail to it. So adding these 2 colors to the top and bottom is a good start. But I think it needs more. Like, what kind of detail does this have? This has just more colors to it. I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. I feel like the bark should be brighter. Yeah, you know what? I agree with you. Let's do that. More like oak than a palm. Yeah, let's do that. And I can do that pretty easily. If I do this, and then we can go over to adjustments. We'll do hue saturation. And let's adjust these. I'm gonna have to change the outline back to black after we do this, but... So it's slightly more yellow rather than brown. I think that's kind of in the direction that we're going for. I don't want it to be too saturated. And then I'm going to replace the outline back to black. I think it looks better. What software? This is a sprite. So I changed the coloration to be a little bit lighter. I think that does look better. I might let's change some hues around a little bit. And actually, let me pull up an example of a palm tree. Palm tree. Look at this. So I think I got the curve pretty nicely in mine. I guess mine's kind of small. So mine's more like the Animal Crossing palm tree, which I showed last week too. Where it's like small, but... Yeah, because like these are huge. You can detail the coconut some more. Yeah, I mean, that's definitely something I need to do. Maybe I can make it skinnier. I know someone last week suggested I do that. I guess I could go ahead and do that. Let's try. Let me hide these other layers first, so I can get a clear look at the trunk. I'm kind of worried if I make it skinnier, I don't think it's gonna look very good. Okay, it does look. It looks fine. I'm gonna make it taller too. Okay, that does look vaguely palm tree-ish. I think I'm gonna change that, or actually like this. Alrighty. Oh, I didn't have to... That looks really nice! I didn't have to even move that. That just looks good. This needs to be moved. Whoop. Like that, or should it be down one? Like this? Who do I like the most among my subscribers? Definitely Ender Astro, without a doubt. Yeah, I think I'm gonna move it up. It doesn't look very good when it's too far down. This is fine. I'll call that acceptable. I'm still not fully satisfied. There, I think that's pretty good. I think that looks really good. Wow, the color is so much better. The size is so much better. Yeah, I love this. This looks really good. And then let's go ahead and bring back the coconuts. That back one looks perfect. This front one probably needs to change. Does it, or does it look? It kind of looks fine. I like this top one is like covering up the trunk a little bit. I hope you won't break when I turn 30. I hope not. We'll see. Okay, let's see what I can do with these. I'm kind of worried that they're too big, but if I make them smaller, they probably won't look like circles anymore. I think the way it was is better. I'm just gonna have to leave it like this, I think, for now. Put the top one at the bottom. Put the top one... Oh, okay. Let's see if this one coming forward will be better. Whoops, I'm moving the wrong layer. Pick up the coconuts and use them as a weapon. That sounds pretty cool. I like that. Where is this one? Why wasn't this moving forward? I swear that. I will shade the coconuts, don't worry about that. But I want to get the positions right first, because they're kind of... It's hard to get right. I think that does look good on this side. Also, I really should have saved another frame. That was dumb. Palm trees for a beach area? I haven't really decided yet. This is okay. Looking so good, thank you. the coconuts are gonna look different on all the other ones now. Foreground coconut. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, I'm gonna change it back. I don't like it as much this way either. Yeah, you're saying that this coconut. Yeah, yeah. That seems so obvious. Now, does it still read as a coconut? I still think it's too big. This is giant coconut. That's not bad. What will I do to stop piracy? The main thing I can do is just host it on Steam, where it has DRM. And that's basically as much as I can do. It looks good, but it almost looks better without it. Coconut's more oval rather than circle? Okay, I can try that. And coconut-headed enemies. Yeah, I could try something like that at some point. I do think the oblong shape makes it better. I think that's an improvement. Also, I'm gonna do a new frame because I've made so many changes. Oh man, yeah, that giant coconut's no good. That is a coconut, and when you use it, you gain health. Could do something like that. I haven't fully decided how I want to do health regen, because in the Steam demo, you regen it by... Oh yeah, I think it looks better when it's really small like this. By shattering your weapon. I'm wondering if I should fill in the trunk a little around here. Aren't coconuts green? In my head, they're brown. I can hear they're brown. I think they're green when they're like growing. I guess they are green. That looks pretty green to me. Coconuts need holes. I think that these are gonna be too small. We'll try. So I'm going to add some shading and holes. Brown parts inside the green shell. Yeah, I think that just... Oh wow, like they're green in Animal Crossing as well. I didn't realize that. In my head, coconuts are brown. Let me make it more green. The thing is, like, it has to read as a coconut. That's the thing. I understand that coconuts are green. But it needs to read as a coconut, and I don't know if it'll read as a coconut if it's green. It's like red. I don't want it to be red. clarity should be the main focus. Yep, I agree. So, like, for the holes, I'm wondering if I should do one more color, or if that would be too much. It might be too much. Well, now it just it looks like an eyeball when I do that. I don't think I'm going to be able to do the holes. Coconut hat / headpiece. Interesting. Maybe an enemy that throws coconuts, and when the coconut hit you, it gets stuck on your head. Interesting. A lot of head and coconut related activities I'm hearing. Yeah, I'm gonna get rid of the hole, or maybe I can make it a lighter spot, slightly lighter. I might have overdone it. Your pixel art are so good. Thank you. Oasis or beach? Oh, I don't know. Get a level Moonshire, are going to get level Moonshire because the demo isn't. Yeah, I mean the demo is very outdated. And getting hit by a coconut should be an instant kill. I think that looks pretty good. Like these look like coconuts to me. Darker yet? Okay, let's try. Let's experiment using the adjustments. We can try different hues too. We can make it green. This is what it looks like when it's green. Which that still looks fine, honestly. Like that looks like a coconut still too. Please add segments on the trunk. I see. So yeah, my trunk is more. Currently, it's more shaded like an oak tree, like Wolf was saying earlier. I think it would be better to shade it more like this, where it has rings. Yeah, it looks like all of them have rings for the bark. That would look better. Like olive now? It does look like an olive, yeah. It looks like an olive tree. I like my coconuts how they are. I'm gonna leave them. So, with that in mind, I am gonna do that suggestion. I'm gonna make it more ringed. Oh, and this part is something I'm gonna struggle with. I'm gonna try, but this sort of texturing is really tough. I might even start fresh, where I just fill all this in. But this is gonna be a very sort of hacky job, and we'll see how it turns out. I'm predicting it will not turn out good, but we'll see. It's just 2x player height. Dude, like, I'm with you that they're short, but when you consider, like, Animal Crossing trees, these are also just, like, the same size as the players. And in-game, like, these trees here, they're not that much bigger than the player either. Maybe I can make it a little bigger. Let's work on the shading first, and then I'll think about making it bigger. But I kind of like how the size is right now. I don't think it needs to be much bigger. So my strategy for getting these rings to show up is I'm going to try and alternate between the 3 colors. Like this. Oh my gosh, I'm pressing the wrong keys. it's getting there. Well, this is an okay first iteration, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep going with it. That's so smart, actually. Thank you. Yeah, a lot of these pixel art tricks just kind of carry over between different attempts for stuff. That's not bad. I'll probably have to adjust these colors, but it's looking okay. VS Code or NeoVim/LazyVim? Definitely VS Code. I am a VS Code power user. I love it. Okay, now I actually kind of want to start curving it because it's supposed to curve in. Where I'm gonna take these brown ones and kind of do like that, and I might do the same thing with this light ring here. Was better like before. Well, that's the thing, is like I still have the old stuff, and this is just the first iteration. Oh, I got this wrong. This needs to go down. This position's a little weird. Like, rounding this off is going to be a little bit hard. Well, that looks okay. Let's get a little bit more of the light. That looks alright. That looks alright. Buffalo Jake, welcome in. Do you find the art or the code more fun? So I have always said that I prefer coding, but man, recently, I've been enjoying art. I've been having fun doing this pixel art stuff. I feel like I've gotten better. So, like, that goes a long way. I'm noticing that there's missing shading going on here. Okay. Adding illusion depth even though it's 2D. Thanks. Yeah, that's just a lot of tricks. Like, oh, like the rings, how it angles back towards the back of the tree. I'll show the enemies. I can show what little I have, because right now the enemies they're transitioning to the new engine. Long story short, so I'll just show that, like, you can have a slime that follows the player, and this is what the enemies are like, but they still need a lot of work in order to get back to, like, fighting fit, because they're using a lot of new movement and pathfinding logic that hasn't been adapted to the combat system quite yet. I think this tree is awesome. I'm trying to decide how I should adjust the colors, though. It's in pretty good shape. I'm gonna give more Love 2D or something else for top-down. It doesn't matter. Really, you can choose any of them, and they all work just fine. So whichever one you like the best. So, what libraries do I currently use? Well, let's check that out, too. Under Code, Libraries, I use Hump. Lip Service is made by me. I use STI, that's Simple Tiled Implementation. Animate, Baton, Bitzer. This is custom JSON that I made. Lookout is something I made. Sock is my networking library, how I do that peer-to-peer stuff I was talking about earlier. You have to have 8 strings. Some strings have like weird characters involved, so this helps with converting those types of strings. Let's see. I want to try experimenting with these colors again for the trunk. Okay, so I'm gonna take... Oh! And we're going to check this out. We're getting some good music. I don't think this is gonna work. I think that the colors are actually fine the way that they are. I just need to make them less distinct. So maybe... I think the light needs to be toned down. And then the dark needs to be toned up. Did that overdo it? Did I overdo it? I think that's pretty good. Oh yeah, this new color scheme looks way better. This is before, after. Before, after. This is more soft. Planning to make Moonshire co-op? Yes, I'm going to try. I have the leaves on that. Thank you. Yeah, the leaves. That's something I should work on next. Is I kind of want to add a little bit more texture to it, but I'm struggling to figure out how to do that or what that would even look like. After is better. Yeah, I agree. So I have these leaves. Oh, look. Part of the old coconut is still there. I need to fix that. Huh? Oh, more than part. The entire old coconut is still there. That's weird. That's funny. I accidentally put the back coconut on the wrong layer. Here, I need to get all this stuff. Oh man, I really screwed this up. Okay. Ugh, okay, I need to fix this. If no one can see, no need to remove it. You're right, but I think I do want to remove it anyway because I think it's causing it to be less organized because I thought that this back coconut was on layer 5, but it's actually not. It's still on layer 4. I kind of want it to be on layer 5. Yeah, it should be on layer 5 because it's behind the trunk. It doesn't make sense for it to be here, so I'm gonna actually take all of this. I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna put this onto layer 5. And I'm gonna fill in the rest of this coconut. Well, no, I'm gonna make the coconut smaller. Because it doesn't need to be this big. How should I do this? I think that's fine. I need to fix the rest of the colors. Or actually, I think I need to move it up. No, I don't need to move it up one. I just need to fix the colors. Is that what it looked like before? Yeah, it's the same. It's just slightly more shaded. I can change that. Yeah, that looks good. Do I compose music? Yeah, I do. Okay, no difference, but now the layers are fixed. That's good. Next, I'm going to go back to the leaves. Oh, I'm not as good as Toby Fox, that's for sure. In September or something, late this year, me and my sister are going to go to see an Undertale live concert. It's going to be awesome. Chicago. Using the frames as drafts. Yes, I am. Which, I don't know if that's what people do, but that's what I do. So now, and I actually like it because then I can go through and we can see my progress. We can see my progress. I have 1 through 18 frames. This is the first frame. I started with this stump. I changed into a curve. I added the top of the stump. I added the first little bit of the leaves. And see the shape taking form. Added the outline. Made it curve a little bit more. Made it skinnier. Added the 2 coconuts. More positioning. That's Sideshow Bob. Then we're back to the shading. I went to an RPG-themed orchestra in 2020. That's awesome. They played Rude Buster. That'd be awesome. That sounds so cool. And then so this is changing it to be a little more skinny, better coconut size, even better coconut size. This is the rings, ring colors. This is fixing the layers. And then now we're back here. We're going to work on the leaves. And I don't know how to do this. Like, do I just add, like this? Does that look better? I don't really think that improves it. Does exist Love 3D or 3D framework? Not really. There's a fork of Love 2D called Lover that is 3D focused. But it's a very different implementation of everything. It doesn't feel like you're using Love 2D. You make every sound effects in your game with Foley. That's awesome. Use a softer green. Yeah, let's make it so that it's not as piercing. So we have these 2 colors. See, I don't know if that's actually making it better. I'm also wondering if I should try putting in, like, a layer like that. Or dots along this edge. That's something I do a lot. Why are they always answering your coffee mug? That sounds bad, I'm sorry. Do you pay for a sprite? Yeah, I bought it on Steam. Maybe texture so it looks like lots of leaves instead of a single leaf. Kind of try to texture, like, kind of like this. It does look like it has multiple leaves. See, like, this is a pixel art limitation. Is that, like, this palm tree here, or even this one, it has the slits. It has slits in the leaves where, like, cuts. It kind of looks like it's stringy. And you can't really do that in this. You kind of have to accept that those small details aren't going to be there. Because if I made slits in any capacity, like, it would mess up the, well, I could do that. Okay, we're going to try slits. I've talked myself into it. We'll decide after this if this is an improvement. The bottom ones might be. I could take it or leave it. That does give it more texture, though. I'm wondering if the tops... I don't think the tops are going to have it. I think it's just going to be those bottoms. Yeah, I think that does look better. Made a game with hand-drawn art? No, I never have. I'm not really a hand-drawn art kind of person. When I draw a hand-drawn art, it tends to look like this. So, unless you want a game looking like this, I don't think you want any hand-drawn art by me. Put a line down the middle. A line down the middle of the leaf. I was kind of doing that. If you're adding slits right above, should be darker, like by 1 to 2 pixels. Oh, yeah, you're right. It should. Like, so far, I'm not sold on this. I think the slits are an improvement, but I'm not fully sold. But I lost. We're just working on the palm tree some more. I'm trying to figure out how to texture it properly, but this is an okay start. Look, ref of pixel art palm tree. We can try that. Palm tree pixel art. So let's see if they're using any tricks here that I can use. This one has the slits that I was just doing. That's good. Oh, actually, they have another trick for the slits where they're just like, they're putting in like a black dot like that. And I don't know if I want to do that, but that's a decent idea. Or not a black dot. They were using a darker green dot. So I could make another darker shade of green. They have more leaves too. I could add more leaves. I could add slits this way by putting in a dark dot like this at a few spots. It makes it look a little bit messier. I don't know if that's better. So like this one has a lot of leaves, but it is also a lot bigger. Something like this or this is closer to my size. But yeah, even these have more leaves. It's all jam synchronized. The way the jams work is that just after the song ends, if like 3 or more people jam, then it tells you. Oh, someone posted on our pixel art. I think these are all good, but they don't match my style. I think I'm gonna use my own ideas. Because this is looking pretty good. The slits made it more dirty, though. I might go back and make like an in-between between 18 and 19, because there's parts of 19 that I like, but overall, I think that the messiness of it makes it a little worse. Stream's almost over. Yeah, I'm gonna be wrapping up here in about a minute. All palm trees look fake to me. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any palm trees in Illinois, I'll tell you that much, too. What does Moonshire mean? It's just a shire on the moon. Eroded. I mean, yeah, it looks like it's more worn, like with time. Keep trying the same shape and just adding lines rather than slips. So, that is basically what I would try to do. But it's always a balance, because if I make it too detailed, like even right now, when I compare the level of detail on the leaves, and I compare it to the level of detail in the player, it's more detailed than the player. And that's not necessarily a good thing. Like, in general, art will look better when it blends together in a similar style to everything else. And right now, when I compare these two, the tree is definitely more detailed, which is iffy. I think it still looks fine. I think that this is perfectly fine to use as is, but I'll probably still work a little bit more with it. The line in the middle was black. The line in the middle was black. The line in the middle was black. The line in the middle. Which line in the middle? I'm sorry that I don't know which one you're referring to. Because I thought you were talking about this line, but it's already black. Of the leaves. Oh, you're saying put all the... Like, okay. I'll try that real quick, and then that'll probably be the last thing on stream. The reason I don't think black will work is because it's just too strong. It doesn't look that bad. It looks fine. And actually, this kind of makes it look like a big, like, wet leaf. Rather than, like, a palm leaf, it looks more like a big green, like, tree leaf. Like a curved point leaf. And that does look kind of good, but I think it'll look better without that. It's just too striking, I think, where the more subtle is a bit better. What would you have named it? I had a big, long list of names that I wanted to name it. Moonshire was not my first choice, but when you name a game, you have to decide on something that no one else has used, or like that isn't really used commercially. So I didn't settle on Moonshire, but it is not the first name that I came up with. I had to come up with lots of ideas and choose the one that worked best. If you add the background leaves in again. Oh, I forgot to. Oh, whoops. Ah! Thank you for pointing that out. I forgot to put that back in. It's missing a pixel. That looks really good. Thank you for pointing that out. I completely forgot about the background leaves. But yeah, on that note, I think that I'm going to call it quits for the day. It was a really good stream. Got a lot of stuff done, a lot of pixel art, and chatted about physics, and I really appreciate all the support. A lot of people were in chat today and helping me out, giving me ideas, and giving me feedback. So thank you all for that. I will be back next week for some more Moonshire Monday. And until then, again, thank you everyone for the support. We got Wolf and Kemi and Ender and Buffalo Jake, Dark Ninja, Ambratolum, Portugal, and Mingwarm, Baron, Ike, Rescue Squad. Thank you so much for being here, and I will be back next week for yet another Moonshire Monday. Thanks, everyone. Bye.